In this video, you will see how to use the Greek Polytonic Keyboard to add to vowels, breathing marks, accents, iota subscripts, and combinations of them. Hi, Rob McIver here. Let's begin with breathing marks. Every word in the Greek New Testament that starts with a vowel has a breathing mark, either a smooth breathing mark or a rough breathing mark. Now, with the Greek Polytonic Keyboard, these breathing marks are added to vowels using two separate keystrokes. For a smooth breathing mark, we use a single quotation mark followed by the vowel. For a rough breathing mark, we use a double quotation mark followed by a vowel. Now, some of you will find this doesn't work, and the most common reason that it doesn't work is that you have installed a Greek keyboard, but not a Greek Polytonic keyboard. Modern Greek doesn't use smooth breathing marks, so a modern Greek keyboard doesn't have one. Let me demonstrate how this works. Now, why not follow along doing these things on your own computer to see if it works? It will. Now, let me demonstrate how this works. First of all, I have to choose a Greek Polytonic keyboard. Then I type single quote, and if you look at my screen, nothing has happened. But if I type an A next, hey, look at that. I have an alpha with a breathing mark on it. Now, let's say I just wanted the quote mark by itself. I can do that by pressing the quote mark followed by the space key. So that's what that does. Let's try another one, shall we? Type a single quote and an H. And hey, look, we have a smooth breathing mark on a Iota. Try it again. A single quotation followed by V, and we have a smooth breathing mark on an omega. Well, that's pretty good, eh? Now, how do we get a rough breathing mark? Well, we're looking for a double quote, which is shift double quote, press A. There it is, a rough breathing mark. Try another one. Shift double quote H and shift double quote V. So that is rough and smooth breathing marks. Accents require two keystrokes on the Greek Polytonic keyboard. For example, a semicolon followed by a vowel produces an acute accent. On a PC, you can also do that with a Q followed by a vowel. A right square bracket followed by a vowel produces a grave accent. And a left square bracket followed by a vowel produces a circumflex accent. Why don't we try that? So to add an acute accent to a vowel, first press semicolon, then a vowel. And hey, we have an acute accent on an alpha. Semicolon H produces an acute accent on an eta. For a grave accent, we type right square bracket followed by a vowel. Try right square bracket followed by a Y. That gives a grave accent on an upsilon. Hey, what happens if we just want to type a bracket by itself? Well, press the square bracket and then the space bar. All right, well, we're doing accents, so let's not worry about that. The last accent, of course, is the circumflex accent, and that is achieved by pressing the left square bracket plus the vowel. So left square bracket plus A gives a circumflex accent on an alpha. A left square bracket plus a V gives a circumflex accent on a omega. You will often want to type a breathing mark combined with an accent. And on a Mac, this is very straightforward. First, type the breathing mark, then the accent, then the vowel you want. On a PC, though, you cannot type 3 letters to make a combination. You can only type 2. So many of the keys are mapped to these combinations of breathing marks and accents. Mac also does this, but there's an extra complication. As you can see here, the Mac maps these accents slightly differently. So I've highlighted the differences here. On a PC, a minus sign is just a minus sign, or it produces a bar. On a Mac, a minus sign will produce a smooth breathing mark and a circumflex accent combined. And on a PC, a downward slash makes a smooth breathing mark with the grave accent, and on a Mac it's just a downward slash. All right, so here we are. Let's just go through them. An acute accent combined with a smooth breathing mark is done the same way on both a PC and a Mac. So forward slash followed by epsilon gives a smooth breathing mark, acute accent on an epsilon, etc. And when we get to grave accents, that's where we have a difference between a PC and a Mac. And the circumflex accent, likewise. On a PC, that is an equal sign followed by the vowel, and on a Mac, it's a minus sign followed by the vowel. Rough breathings with an acute accent is the same on a PC and a Mac. You use a question mark followed by the vowel. On a PC, a rough breathing with a grave accent is the bar, and on a Mac, it's the plus. A circumflex on a PC is a plus, and a circumflex on a Mac is the underline. Let's try some of those, shall we? Now, press the forward slash followed by an E, and we have an epsilon with a smooth breathing and an acute accent. A forward slash followed by a V. We have an omega with a smooth breathing mark and an acute accent. Now on a PC, if I'm trying to do a smooth breathing mark with a grave accent, I would press the downward slash followed by a vowel. Downward slash followed by a vowel. If I was doing a circumflex followed by and a smooth breathing, I would press equals followed by a vowel. Remember, on a Mac, these are mapped slightly differently. Now, for a rough breathing mark, I follow the following. I use a question mark. Well, to get there, I need to go shift question mark followed by a vowel. So that gives me a rough breathing and an acute accent. A bar, which is shift followed by a vowel, gives me a rough breathing and a grave accent. Shift followed by a vowel gives me a rough breathing and a grave accent on that vowel. And finally, a plus sign followed by a vowel will give me a circumflex accent and a rough breathing. 2 keystrokes, one after the other. On a PC, on a Mac, yes, 2 keystrokes are possible, but you can do it in 3. Iota subscripts can be found underneath a vowel, just like that, or in combinations with accents and even accents and breathing marks. The simplest case is the iota subscript under a single vowel. This is accomplished in the same way on both a PC and a Mac. You use a left curly bracket. Now, when we get combinations, a Mac has got the advantage because it can use 3 keystrokes. So, you start with an iota subscript, left curly bracket, and then add the combined accent and breathing mark, and you have the complete character. For example, a minus sign followed by a left curly bracket followed by an H, remember they are all separate keystrokes, produces a eta with a circumflex accent and a smooth breathing mark. Now I'm going to show you something that I think everyone is going to find interesting. It's happening live in front of your eyes. This is how a Mac keyboard viewer helps you with your accents. For example, when you type the iota subscript, all the other keys change to show you what is available to you. Wow, just look at that. I think every PC owner now is a little bit envious. Microsoft, we really wish you could do this for us on a PC. It is just fabulous. Yes, it's fun, isn't it? Now, it's even more interesting when it comes to a PC, because a PC allows only a maximum of 2 keystrokes. Well, it's easy enough with just a iota subscript under a single vowel. It's a left curly bracket again, followed by the vowel. But to get an iota subscript under combined vowels and accents and breathing marks, well, that requires a special technique. We use the right alternate key and press the key that produces the combined accent and breathing mark, or whatever we're trying to do, or just the accent by itself. And then we let them go and type the vowel we want. Okay, that just cries out for a demo, doesn't it? Let's see how that goes. Let's start with the simplest combination that works both on a PC and a Mac. That is a vowel with an iota subscript and nothing else. To do this, we need to use the left curly bracket. So use the Shift key and left curly bracket together, then let them up and then press, say, V. That will produce an omega with an iota subscript, and we're going to be using an omega for most of our examples. So that's easy enough, and it works both on a PC and a Mac. Now, when we get to a PC and combinations of iota subscripts and accents and other things, it's a little more complicated. All right, so we need to remember that there are two Alt keys on a PC keyboard, one on the left and one on the right. And it's the right Alt key that you use in combination with other things that would normally do a combination of accent and breathing mark. If you do it with a right Alt key, it will produce an iota subscript as well as the other things. All right, it's easier to show than to say, isn't it? So let's do that. So to get a acute accent on a vowel on a PC, we can use the semicolon or a Q. To get an iota subscript with it, you need to use the Q. So press the right Alt key and the Q together, let them off, then type the vowel. Hey, we've got an acute accent on an omega with an iota subscript. A right square bracket will give a grave accent. Hold the Alt key down and press the right square bracket, let them off, press V, will provide a grave on an omega with an iota subscript. And the circumflex works the same way. So Alt left square bracket V. Hey, that's all right, isn't it? Let's try combined accents and breathing marks. Well, the / we know produces a combined smooth breathing and acute accent. So if we press Alt and hold down the / and let the key go, remember you've got to take your hands off, it's 2 keystrokes, then press V, voila, there it is. Isn't that exciting? All right, and let's say you want to make it a rough breathing mark. Remember, that's the question mark. So here you've got to use 3 keys all at once. Press them all at once. Alt, Shift, question mark, followed by V. And there it is. Isn't that interesting? Now that we've seen how to use the Greek Polytonic Keyboard to form breathing marks, accents, iota subscripts, and all their combinations, let's do some thinking about how to make it easier to use the Greek Polytonic Keyboard. Well, firstly, Mac users have got no further to look than the keyboard viewer. It provides the accents, it gives hints about the various combinations that are available as you compose the combination of breathing marks, accents, and iota subscripts. It's hard to beat. PC users will still want to refer to the on-screen keyboard from time to time, I've no doubt, but they will need to supplement this with a list of keystrokes that provide the various combinations of breathing marks and accents. You can find these in a number of places, but might I recommend Chapter 2 of my book, Beginning New Testament Greek Made Easier. As you can see, Chapter 2 provides a list of the various keystrokes that you will need. Secondly, and I'm sure you've done this already, it's very helpful to have thoroughly memorized the Greek alphabet. And thirdly, using the Greek Polytonic Keyboard is going to get easier the more you practice. Now this is easily arranged. Just about any passage from the Greek New Testament can be typed, and it's going to come complete with breathing marks and accents and iota subscripts and all their combinations. Exercise 2.2 in Chapter 2 of my book, Beginning New Testament Greek Made Easier, has the full Greek text of John chapter 1, verses 1 through 10, including accents and breathing marks. So you can use that to practice if you happen to have the book. By the time you've finished this exercise or one like it, you will have gone a long way to mastering the Greek Polytonic Keyboard. My videos in the series on the Greek Polytonic Keyboard have been following Chapter 2 of my book, Beginning New Testament Greek Made Easier. These videos and others on various aspects of New Testament grammar and syntax may most easily be found by either subscribing to my YouTube channel at NT Greek Made Easier, or by following me on x.com at Rob McIver 2024. And hey, if you found this video useful, why don't you let me know by either clicking the like button or the heart icon? Many thanks.